Good afternoon, or is it good morning, everyone? Let me say on behalf of Pakistan, Pakistan welcomes this meeting of the UN Security Council to discuss the disputed state of Jammu and Kashmir. This meeting was called on the request of my country's foreign minister within 72 hours. He asked for this meeting in a letter that I communicated to the President of the Security Council, and as a consequence, we are grateful to China for also joining us in calling this meeting. Let me start by saying the voice of the Kashmiri people, the voice of people of occupied Kashmir has been heard today in the highest diplomatic forum of the world. They are not alone. Their voices have been heard, their plight, their hardship, their pain, their suffering, the occupation, and the consequences of that occupation has been heard in the UN Security Council today. The fact that this meeting took place is testimony to the fact that this is an internationally recognized dispute. There was an effort to stop this meeting from convening, and we are grateful to all 15 members of the UN Security Council for agreeing to having this meeting. This meeting has reaffirmed the validity of UN Security Council resolutions on the state, the occupied state of Jammu and Kashmir. As far as my country is concerned, we stand ready for a peaceful settlement of the dispute of Jammu and Kashmir. I think today this meeting nullifies India's claim that Jammu and Kashmir is an internal matter for India. Today, the whole world is discussing the occupied state and the situation there. As the Chinese ambassador emphasized, the human rights situation in Jammu and Kashmir, and it is an abysmal human rights situation with violations carried out with impunity by India. That too has been discussed by the Security Council today. This, let me say, I've been on the telephone to my foreign minister, and he has conveyed that this is the first step that Pakistan, on Pakistan's request, that we have taken on behalf of the people of Jammu and Kashmir. This is the first and not the last step. It will not end here. It will only end when justice is done to the people of Jammu and Kashmir. In conclusion, I only want to say what I started with. The people of Jammu and Kashmir may be locked up. Their voices may not be heard in their own homes and in their own land, but their voices were heard today at the United Nations, and their voices will always be heard because Pakistan will always stand by them, extending full diplomatic and political support.
I wish to talk to you a little bit more today, but it will be mainly on the current situation concerning Jammu Kashmir, and I'm sure you are all following the situation very closely. The Security Council has just held an informal consultation and listened very carefully the briefings, the reports from the Secretariat, especially including the briefing from the military observer group on the ground. And that helped us understand the situation better. And I'm sure you all know the Secretary General also issued a statement a few days ago. And judging from what I have heard from the discussions of the Security Council, members have expressed their serious concern concerning the current situation in Jammu Kashmir. They are also concerned about the human rights situation there, and also it's the general view of members that parties concerned should refrain from taking any unilateral action which might further aggravate the tension there, since the tension is already very tense and very dangerous. As for China, I'm sure you have all noted the remarks made by our State Councilor and Foreign Minister Wang Yi during his meetings with the Pakistani Foreign Minister and also the Indian Foreign Minister. China holds the view that the issue of Jammu Kashmir is an issue left from history between India and Pakistan. According to relevant Security Council resolutions, the status of Kashmir is undecided and it's internationally recognized dispute. The Kashmir issue should be resolved properly through peaceful means in accordance with the UN Charter, the relevant Security Council resolutions, and bilateral agreements. This represents the international community's consensus. It's obvious that the constitutional amendment by India has changed the status quo in Kashmir, causing tensions in the region. And China is deeply concerned about the current situation and opposes any unilateral action that complicates the situation. And we call upon the relevant parties to exercise restraint, act prudently, and in particular, not to take actions that will aggravate the tensions. What should be pointed out is that India's action has also challenged China's sovereign interests and violated bilateral agreement on maintaining peace and stability in the border area. And on that, China is also very much seriously concerned. And we wish to emphasize that such unilateral practice by India is not valid in relation to China and will not change China's exercise of sovereignty and effective administrative jurisdiction over the territory. And I also wish to point out that both India and Pakistan are China's friendly neighbors, and we are all major developing countries. Both India and China are, and I'm sorry for that, both India and Pakistan are at a crucial stage of development. We call on the two sides to set a stall by development of their own and peace in South Asia, find a proper solution to their historical grievances, discard the zero-sum game mentality, avoid unilateral action, and settle disputes peacefully, and to maintain the peace and the security in that region collectively and jointly.
Always glad to see my colleagues, that's it.
What do you hope to get out of this meeting?
Some understanding of what's happening. That's what close consultations are for.
What does Russia think next steps should be on this issue?
We favor bilateral track between India and Pakistan.
India has
We'll
always
see.
maintained it's a bilateral issue.
Sorry?
India has always maintained it's a bilateral issue.
You know our position, it hasn't changed. Today we have close consultations and we'll just exchange opinion and see what we can do or what we can't do. It's a normal process.
How concerned are you about the possibility of this situation escalating?
Well, very much concerned. We hope to avoid it.
Can the Council play a useful role in this issue?
We first need to discuss and then we'll see.
Do you think you've left the issue too long? I mean, it's been since 1971 since the Council has discussed it.
I was born in 1971, so
it's a long time.
I don't know. We'll see. Sometimes it's better not to touch upon certain issues.
You're very concerned. Why not Security Council? Why, if you're very concerned that you say that it's a bilateral issue, but now it's got regional implications, they're both nuclear powers, why not bring in the Security Council and an issue?
We can discuss whatever we want, actually.
But you still feel it's a bilateral issue?
It's a bilateral issue, yes, sure, for us.